Okay. Hey guys, so I'm back. I know it's been about 2 weeks now since I last uploaded a video. And I figured that it was about time that I finished up my Berlin trip review. So this will be the last video of the Berlin trip review. The day after Fulda, Braun and I got up early and we went to breakfast like normal, but we left breakfast a bit early because we had to get to the furthest east train station in Berlin and hop a regional train to go about an hour east of Berlin to Küstrin, which is actually now in Poland. So we went to Poland for a day. And so we got up and we went all the way out there, and let's see, it was about noonish when we got out there. We had a bit of time to wait before our train, so we grabbed lunch from this little Chinese food stand that was right next to the train station. It was amazing. I can't remember exactly what I ate, like what the name of it was, but it was like beef and noodles and bamboo shoots and rice and all this deliciousness. I convinced Braun to try lychee juice for the first time, which I thought he wouldn't like it. He would end up not liking it, but he ended up actually liking it, and so I was pleasantly surprised. But then we boarded our train, and when the guy came by to stamp our tickets, he was offering all the passengers coffee, and I have no idea why, but we didn't take the coffee. But yeah, so we arrived at Küstrin at about 1-ish, and then we couldn't quite find where we were going because we were trying to find the old town, like the fortress area, which I knew was right on the river, but we had a bit of a time navigating from the train station to get there. We just always had trouble getting everywhere when Braun was the one organizing directions. But eventually we made it, and we wandered around there for a while before finding the museum in Bastian Philippe, which was really cool. We went in there and got to go through that museum, which was pretty cool. It ended up being bigger than I thought, because it seemed like it was only like a couple of rooms, because it's still really small, but like they had World War I, World War II, then they had back with like the 1870s, and then going back, and then they had some Napoleonic stuff, which Braun was kind of interested in. And then we realized that it went back even further, and we went back further, and that was when it got into the things that I like. Because we walked into the back rooms, and first thing we were greeted with was a giant painting of the Battle of Zorndorf. I was just like, yes, Fritz things. They had battle maps of Battle of Zorndorf, which took place really close to Küstrin, and then they had a battle map of Königsdorf, which also took place near Küstrin, which I probably know more about the Battle of Königsdorf than I should. It's one of the things that I've studied a lot while I've been studying Fritz. I've actually done a presentation on this battle for my German 1 class, so I actually did this not long after I went to Küstrin. But so we went through there, we went through the whole museum, and then we went back outside, and then we wandered trying to find, I was trying to find the spot where Cato was executed. So it took a while to find, but eventually I did find it, what's left of the old state palace. The entire town had been leveled, pretty much. So all that was left was ruins, but it was still so worth the trip. They're restoring it, and Bastian Philippe is the first part that was completed. And Bastian Philippe and the Cato Wall, which that was incredibly deceptive, because I thought like the Cato Wall was named because it was near the area where Cato was executed. No, that's in a slightly different area. But yeah, that was incredibly deceptive. But eventually we found it, and I almost cried. I don't know why I didn't cry. I didn't really cry very much at the things I thought I would on this trip. But we found it. I took a boatload of pictures at that spot. And we went into, you could go into the ruins of the State Palace. We did that. It dawned on me that that was the spot of the most, if not the most, one of the most traumatic events in Frederick the Great's life. And as someone who spent, at that point, 5.5 years, 4.5 years, it's 5.5 years now, 4.5 years at the time, studying him, that was kind of a powerful moment. And gave me an entirely new perspective. I mean, I had done my college history thesis paper on his imprisonment in Küstrin, and this was before I had gone. If I were to write that paper now, it would be completely different because I've been there and I've seen it, and it has an entirely different impact once you're there because the sources don't really tell you enough to fully understand it. But we went there, we walked around for a while. I kind of went on a bit of a rant because it's me geeking out in another history spot, so I kind of did what I did at Sanssouci just without the British tourists. And so we went from there down towards the other gates on the other side of the fortress, towards where Küstrin stayed the night before his execution. And I'd actually only found out about that the night before we went. And then we walked the rest of the old town, and then we left. Went back to the train station around 4. Got on the train, went back to Berlin, and actually went down to Potsdamer Platz for dinner and went to the Korabori again. And once again I got the meat trio plate instead, except this time instead of getting the fries, I got the rice, which was phenomenal. And I still had a little bit of a cough left over from when I was sick in Vienna, so I got some fresh mint and honey to drink. It was wonderful. It was like fresh mint tea with honey, and it was amazing. And then we went back to the hotel, and that was pretty much my last weekend. And then the next day we had class, and then the next day we had finals. After finals, Braun and I went and did some souvenir shopping. I got a giant Prussian flag, which I have hanging above my bed. I got a medium-sized one, which is hanging above my mirror next to my Prussian one. Or not my Prussian one, my Polish one. What is wrong with me today? And I got a Prussia shirt, which I wore in my very first YouTube video ever. And I got a book on Fritz and a couple of other small little trinkets. But actually, I also got this shirt on the trip. This is my Potsdam shirt. I love my Potsdam shirt. It's got the Prussian eagle and everything. I love it. So we did that, and then we came back to the hotel and packed up our things, and then we all went down to Mario's for a party because he was throwing us a goodbye party because Mario was great, and he loved all of us being there, and he said he was going to miss us, and it was kind of sad but really fun, and we had lots of pizza and other things, and it was just amazing. And then we went back to the hotel, and turns out half of us were locked out of our rooms because they forgot to program the keys properly, and half of us were locked out of our rooms. That was really annoying because it was like midnight by this point, so we had to call up the lady who had normally been at the reception desk and get her out of bed in the middle of the night to come unlock our rooms. She was really polite about it, but I could tell she just was not happy that this happened. We weren't happy that it happened. But yeah. So we all got back into our rooms, finished packing, went to bed, and then got up really early the next morning to catch our flight home. We had breakfast on the bus, and then we got to the airport really early. Didn't have to wait around too awfully long. I grabbed a coffee because they didn't give us coffee, and I was so tired. And then we boarded the plane and flew to Frankfurt. And we didn't have a really long layover this time. We just had like an hour and a half layover. I had while I was watching our things, I gave Ron a bit of money and had him go buy me one of these from there. I've actually found this at an international farmer's market recently, but this is amazing. But then we boarded our flight back to Atlanta, and I'm gonna drink this now. But the flight back wasn't as bad as the flight there. It was longer, but it wasn't that bad, and I did quite enjoy being on the plane, quite contrary to when I went and I hated flying. I now love flying. But we got on the plane, we flew back to Atlanta, I watched a whole bunch of movies, played a couple of games, and then we got back to Atlanta, went through customs and everything, got our luggage, and then my brother picked me up from the airport and came home, and we went out to dinner, and then I kind of just couldn't make it through dinner because I was so jet lagged, and then I just came home and crashed. All around, I have to say the trip was amazing. I would definitely do it again. I am sort of going to do it again. The reason I'm filming this video now and uploading this video today is in 2 days, actually, I am getting on a plane, oddly enough, the same Lufthansa flight number as what I took to get to Germany the first time, and going back to Germany to attend a theater festival in Bad Gandersheim. So that'll be awesome. I mentioned in my last video how I said one day I would love to meet Küstrin Alexander Müller. I'm going to get to do that in like less than a week, and I am scared half to death. But it's going to be amazing. I hope it will be amazing. This is my first like actual solo trip, really my big solo trip. I'm going for 1 week right before I start school, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I may film a video while I'm there. I know I'll definitely be taking footage while I'm there to upload later. But it will just be insane and fun, and hopefully I will get to meet my biggest inspiration ever. We shall see how much fun this is. But that's all for now. I will see you guys either in Bad Gandersheim or when I get back from Bad Gandersheim. I don't know yet. We shall see. But I will see you guys next time.